Good evening. Thank you to all of us. Thank you to all of you for joining us this evening. We are going to talk about a couple of things going on in the district and try to make sure that we keep all of our families up to speed. So again, this is the parent webinar for October, and I'm going to dive right in. This is being recorded so that will be posted and shared for everybody who is unable to make it tonight to view it at a later date. I want to start by just reminding us of our virtual norms and agreements. Everybody will stay muted except for myself as the presenter. This just keeps it so that we don't get distracted by each other and everybody can hear who's speaking, but please fill in all of your questions and comments in the chat, and we will have time at the end to address those. Our agenda tonight is we're going to talk about our parent support team. Hopefully you've already utilized them to some capacity, but we're going to talk a little bit about who they are and what their role is. I'm also just going to remind us of where to find things on our website. I'm going to go through a couple things about parent observer accounts, and I want to talk just briefly about our TSD9 Virtual Academy and talk a little bit about the next October webinar. Our parent support team is comprised of one teacher from each of our school buildings, and they are hosting evening office hours on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 8 o'clock at night. They have recorded Google Meets that you can drop into if you have certain questions about Canvas, and they have access to all the courses at their particular school. So if you had a specific question related to a teacher that's not one of these listed here, but it was a class that you wanted to be able to access, you could call, for instance, Miss Allen at South Prairie, and you could ask her about how you would submit an assignment for a third grade class, just as an example. They are also creating a lot of great tutorials, and I'll show you where those are located as well. We do also have this same comprehensive distance learning support for our Spanish-speaking families. Matt Dixon from the high school is hosting the same Google Meets, and then we also have people at the elementary level to help create tutorials as well as be there for specific questions related to elementary. So I'm actually going to go out of this for just a second, and I want to be able to show you where all of this is located. So let me open a new browser here. And so if I go to Tillamook School District, and here's where I would click on all of our just 2021 return to school information that's kind of unique to our current situation and maybe not going to be present forever. So if I click on that, it takes me to this website. It just has a little information about return to school. And this parent resource is really the button that has a lot of information related to things that our parents may be struggling with. So if you click on that, the first one goes to just more links to all of these pages that are listed under here. So I want to click on our virtual learning tutorials. That's where I'm going to start. And on this page, there's an icon for each of our schools. And if you click on them, it's going to take you to a place that has a bunch of resources related to that particular school. So a bunch of tutorials and other things like that. So if I click on South Prairie here, for instance, it's going to take me to a Google Drive, and it's going to have a number of tutorials listed here that are related specifically to second and third grade. So again, there's a lot of resources here that our families already have told us are really helpful. And they're all very short, all less than 5 minutes. And so they don't take long to just click on and watch. And Ms. Allen walks you through how to access, how to turn in assignments, how to get on your Google Meet, just a number of different things. So we also have our resources set up for our Spanish-speaking families. So if you click on that one, it takes you to our Centro Familiar Latino, and it takes you to a number of different videos that are related that are all in Spanish, but are related to some of the things that we've heard feedback from our families that they really needed some specific tutorials on. And again, if you went to the high school, it would take you to this page. And again, if you just click on these, they would take you to different videos and different other things that you can do that might be something that you might be struggling with. And Slade Sephora is always available during those evening office hours on Mondays and Wednesdays to answer any questions that you may have. All right, so let me go back to this. This can also, the same page, if you click on the Parent Help button when you're in Canvas, that's another way for you to be able to get to the same page. I know I talked about this earlier in a different webinar, but we have utilized a lot of the information from our families on this parent support survey. This is just what has generated our tutorials, so then we know specifically what it is that our families need more of. And so this was really helpful. If you haven't had a chance to fill it out, but there's something on here that you would really like, I would just encourage you to actually either go ahead and fill it out, or you can email me directly and I would be happy to share that with our parent support team. Want to talk a little bit about parent Canvas accounts. I know that this was something that a lot of families were waiting on, and so they are ready and they have been created for you. And what's really nice about that is that we were able to connect whatever your parent view login or account was, we were able to connect that directly to your parent Canvas account. And in doing that, that means if you have multiple children, like myself, I have 3 kids. And so, sorry, I apologize. I have 3 kids, and so when my account was created for me, then I was able to have all 3 students, all 3 of my kids under one parent observer account, so they were already there. And the way that you would log in is you would go to this website, and once you get there, you will take whatever your login is for your parent view account. So mine is Rhodes K, and you put a TI and an underscore before it. And that just stands for Tillamook. And when you do that, it'll ask you, well, here, let me go out so I can show you how to do it. I'm gonna use Microsoft Edge because it likes to get confused with my district Canvas account. So if I use a different browser, then that helps. So I go to the, that site that I mentioned before. You can't just Google Canvas, you have to actually use our district Canvas site. So you would go to tillamooksd.instructure.com/login/Canvas. And so right here, if this is my first time logging in, I would do a TI underscore Rhodes K. And then the very first time I would actually click on forgot password. And this would generate an email to my account that's associated with my parent view. And then I would be able to go in there and change my password, and then I would come back to this page and I would be able to log in. And then you should be able to just click log in. And when you get in here, so again, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom because that's where I'm going to find my kids. Scroll all the way down. I can see all their principal videos. I can see all the announcements for their particular school. And then down at the bottom, I see my 2nd graders class, see my 3rd graders class, and I also see my 5th grader, right here, excuse me. And then I also have PE both for East and for South Prairie. And so what's neat about this is I can just click on it and it'll take me directly to her page. And I can go in there and I can start looking at what is it specifically that they should be doing, and what is my child working on. So what should he be doing? I can also see, we talked a little bit about this earlier, that one of the things that our families really wanted was just to kind of clean up the Canvas pages so there was a little bit less to look at. And that's what you can see right here, that is what our teachers have done. So if I click on week 5 weekly to do, which is this current week, what's great is I literally have everything that my son needs in one place, and this all has links, and it takes me directly to what it is he should be doing. All right, so I'm gonna actually log out here. I do want to show you a couple of steps if you were going to add a second parent observer account. So I'm the one that registers my students for school. So I'm the one who has the parent view account. And so this Canvas account is associated with me, but that doesn't mean that I don't want dad or in this case, grandma, who sometimes helps with schooling, to have access to our students as well. So the way that I would go about that is I would actually click here on parent of a Canvas user, because I would have to create an entire account for this other person. So I'd click on that, and then I have it saved because it's easier, but I'm going to get rid of that. And then I would actually put in who it is that I want to include here. So if I was creating one for my husband, I would put his name, his email, his password, and then I need what's called a student pairing code. And I'm going to show you how to get that. So I've already done this and created an account for my student's grandma. So I would go through all of this and I would enter the student's pairing code, which is what I've already done. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to log in as her real quick. And so when we get in here, we can see that she actually only has one student. So I've only created this account for my 5th grader. And so I want to actually add a second student. So I'm going to do this with you right now. So I'm going to go to account, and I'm going to want to go to this button that says observing. I'm going to click on that, and that's going to show me the students that she is currently observing. So she has my daughter, Indiana, but I actually want to add my sons, both of them, in here. And so I have to go and get their pairing code. So this is where there are a couple extra steps. So I'm going to walk you through how you would do that. So again, it's a little easier for me if I use separate browsers when I'm doing 2 different Canvas pages, because then it kind of keeps them separated and it doesn't get kind of angry that I'm trying to log into 2 different Canvas pages on the same browser. So I'm going to go back over here to Chrome, and I am going to actually log myself out. I'm going to log myself out, and then I'm going to log in as my middle son so that we can go in. I can show you where to find his pairing code. So I'm going to log him in. All right, so then just as a reminder, when I want to get to his Canvas page, I click on this little waffle, and then I scroll all the way to the bottom, and I click on Canvas. And then it'll log me in as him. And I'm going to go to his account, and I'm going to click on settings. And then over here on the right, and this page is kind of scary. There's a lot of information here. The only thing you really need is this pair with observer. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to give me the code. So I'm going to copy this and say, okay. And then I got to go back to that other observer account that I was trying to connect to my students. That was in Microsoft Edge. So I'm going to click in there, and I'm just going to paste that code right in there and click plus student. And there he is. So he has arrived. And so if I wanted to do that for my 3rd son, or for my 3rd child, my 2nd son, I would just follow that same process and those same steps. So I would go, I would want to log Tatum out. So I'd go in here and log him out. And then I would want to sign in Finn, my youngest. And I mistyped something. Yep, sorry. Okay. And then once we get in here, sometimes if this pops up, you'll scroll to the bottom and you'll see that there's no Canvas button. So I actually, if you just click out of it and then go back in, Canvas button. Click on that. And I'm going to go back into account. So I click on this little person here, and I go to settings, pair with observer, copy, back in to my other browser, paste, plus student, and voila. So now if I go back to the dashboard, and then I scroll again all the way to the bottom, I now see that she has access to 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, and PE for both of those classes. So now we have another parent observer account created. And in this case, it's grandma who spends a lot of time with them during the day when mom and dad are working. And so she is able to see what they should be working on. And she also gets a lot of notifications too. So if you want to turn off, like if you're getting too many notifications, I feel you, because that happened to me too, especially when you have 3 kids and you get notification when they get an assignment that's created and one that's submitted, and then when it's graded, sometimes it can feel like a lot. So if I go over here to account and I click on notifications, and I just say, okay. So in here is where you can change your settings for how often you want to be notified. So it's just automatically on a default. So if you want to be notified right away, you would just change this to the check mark. If you want it to send daily summaries, you would click on the clock. If you want weekly summaries, you would click on the calendar. And if you don't want anything, you click right here on the X. Doesn't mean that you won't have access to the Campus Observer account, but it just means you're not going to get notifications in your email. And once your account is created, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you may want to remember how to come back in here for your notifications. And again, there's a number of different things that you can change your notification for. All right, so I know that that was a lot, and those were a lot of steps. I want to show you one more place that you can go to in case you want to just watch a video specifically about parent observer accounts, or you want to advise someone else where to go. So I'm going to log myself back in so I can show you. Okay, so I want to go back to this website. So if you remember this, we got to by going to the district website. Then we clicked on parent resources, and then what I have done is created a video on how to create your own parent observer account, and I've dropped it into each one of these folders. So you can look in any school in these tutorials, and you can see how to set up my TSD9 parent observer account. There's a video for that, and how to make a second parent observer account. So both of those videos are in each one of these kind of places. So please feel free to share those with other people. And also if you need to look again, feel free to do that as well. All right, so went through, I'm gonna put this back over here. How to do that, how to create your parent observer account. Also went on to how to set up a second and how to find the video. Want to talk a little bit about our Tillamook Virtual Academy. So one of the things that we know is very true for our families is that when in-person learning resumes, not every single family is going to feel comfortable sending their students back to school. So even though we're going to take every safety precaution into account, and we're going to do our best to keep things safe, there are for some of our students, some underlying health conditions that would keep them and their families from feeling comfortable going back until some things with the virus feel a little bit more sure. And so we want to make sure that we have an option for you. And so we do. And so whether the schools go back hybrid, whether they go back full in person, that's all to be determined and based on metrics from the health department and the state. But we are looking at this point, it's really hard to make plans for an online school if we don't know how many of our families are thinking that they would like to do that. So if our goal is to start second trimester with some sort of in-person learning, whatever that may look like, and again, fingers crossed, we would really like to make sure that our online school is ready to go. So if there's families who say, like, no matter what, this is what I want to stay online, either for one trimester or for two, for the second or the third trimester, we want to have that ready to go. So if you could please fill out a survey, and when I send out this webinar link, I'll make sure to include the survey on that. You should have already received it through your parent view through Synergy. You should have already received it that way. It also went out on Facebook. But if we could have responses by Tuesday, that would be really helpful in terms of making our plans. So next steps are curriculum decisions, staffing decisions, and applications and other things like that. So we really want to move forward with plans with a pretty accurate number. So fill out the survey if you are thinking that it could be a possibility if you would like your students to hop over to the virtual academy and not return to in-person learning. It's under construction, it's a work in progress, but we're super excited to be able to offer this. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out. You can give me a call, you can email me, and I'll try to answer as much as I can with what I know in our current situation. We will have one more webinar in October, and so that will be on the 28th, and it will be at noon. I know our times don't work for everybody, but that's why we're recording them, to make sure that we can put them out afterwards. So anybody who wants to jump in and watch can do that at a later date. Thank you. Again, I'm Kara, and here's my phone number. Feel free to reach out and give me a call if you have any questions. My email is on there too, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here, and hope everybody has a really great night. And I would move on to question and answer, but I don't see any questions in the chat. And so if you have anything in particular that you would like us to address, please feel free to reach out to me personally. Take care. Bye-bye.